Whether you're brand new to Ultimate Team or you just want the best possible start, I thought I'd put a little video together to guide you through the first stages and decisions you'll be making in FC 26. I'll be showing you how to get the most coins early on, how to get the best players in your team, just some little tips and tricks, as well as where you should be spending your time early game. Jumping straight in with the first decision you will need to make, which is what league to pick for your starter team. And boys, some people put a lot of emphasis on this. It doesn't matter too much. My recommendation would be just pick the team that you follow in real life or pick the league. So if you're a Liverpool fan, you pick Prem. If you support Barcelona, La Liga. Just pick the team or league that you follow in real life. This won't have too much impact overall as we get here, French, Nottingham Forest. Who is that? Caliamundo. Like, none of the players you're going to get in this starting pack are too important. It'll give you a little bit of a tutorial and it'll walk you through some of the first stages. If you're new at the game, this might be quite useful for you. But if some of you, like me, have played this game for years, you already know what is about. So this is your first team. Like I say, none of these players are going to be playing more than 1 or 2 games for your club. Caliamundo is actually quite a decent player to get as one of these starter ones, but you'll be moving past all of these players very, very quickly. And the first decision you've got to make on FC 26 is this player pick here. You'll be presented with it straight away. And what it wants you to do is go into a game and complete 5 ground passes and take a shot on target. So what it's really trying to get you to do here is, if you've never played the game before, to learn the basic controls. So go through, advance, just select yes to everything. We put it straight into a game. You might have some strange camera settings or whatever it is. Don't worry about it. Just put together those 5 ground passes that it wants you to do. And we'll go and take a shot at goal to complete this first player pick and get someone who actually goes into our starter team. There you go, boys. Shot on target. Not too shabby. That took surprisingly long, but there you go. And that should pull you out of the game now as you've completed your first challenge on FC 26. I think we get some, I believe they're moments badges, which we'll get into later. But it should mean that we get our first big player of FC 26. So there we go. We can claim this foundation pick now. And we get a 1 of 5. You might also have, if you're like me, you played the game before, some old kits and badges, but it's not to worry about. They're not too important. And I've got a club member Evo there, but you don't really need to worry about that. But on FC26, you can go straight into your founder pick, reveal all. And honestly, on these, a lot of them are actually okay for a starter team. Just pick who you want. I wouldn't worry too much about this player pick, as they'll be getting replaced in about a week or 2, no more. So for me, I'm going to pick Endo, as we are a Liverpool fan round here, and he's the first player that goes into our starter team, which is very, very nice. So there you go. We can add Endo into our squad there and swap him for this silver midfielder. And there you go. First player in the team. And this Endo card is not too shabby at all for a starter card that you get pretty much for free. But like I say, don't stress too much. These players might be getting replaced very quickly. So just pick someone that you like the look of, throw them into your team, and the next thing we're going to go and do is go over to the objectives tab. This is what I'd recommend everyone do who's just jumped on the game, is go straight to the objectives tab, as you can get some nice easy free coins, some chemistry styles and consumables, and it's just a good place to start, starting with foundations. So going into new beginnings, which is where we just picked up that player pick, there is a few other simple objectives that you can go and do straight away. You can play 3 squad battles games. You can play a squad battles feature squad. You can score 5 goals. And just there, like you see, you're getting 200 Ultimate Team coins, a bronze pack, some other stuff. And you do get a player award there. You get this Brunina right back, who again is not actually too shabby, just as a starter card. And you can go and complete that pretty much day one in the first sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes. I guess maybe playing 3 squad battles is a little bit longer, but you can go and do that and get a couple starter cards in your team. And then you can have a look at some of the rest of the foundations, mainly things like club maintenance, where you just need to do a couple easy things like change your club name, apply a chemistry style, and things you can do for free. And you get some nice rewards there, like some coins, an anchor chem style, you get a consumables pack, and you get a little player pick overall. So take a look at these, boys. And then when you've done foundations, hop over into some of the other tabs like seasonal, where you've got your daily and weekly objectives, obviously, for the season pass. You've got some of the new silver stars icons, which are out for 38 days. So if you are jumping on towards the start of the game, definitely take a look at these. The objectives do take a while to complete. So if you have a look at this Bobby Moore, for example, you're going to need to either, it's 1 of 2, you don't need to do both, either win 50 squad battles matches or play 100, and it's similar sort of objectives to the rest of them. So Yashin is 10 clean sheets while having 3 silver players in your team, or play 40 matches. And there is a Garincha as well, who looks really nice, and even a Eusebio, who looks really, really nice. So go and take a look at these. These are obviously silver versions of the icons who you might be able to Evo, or what a lot of people are doing is just keeping them as silver for silver stars this year, which is back, or you're going to need a full silver team. So you get to use players like Eusebio, Garincha in your silver team, which is a big, big, big dub from EA this year. So take a look at these. They do take a while to complete, but they definitely are worth it. You've also got your weekly play, which again is a nice big chunk of SP. You also got on here the live event. So these will change throughout the year. Again, go take a look at these. They're quite simple. Play 1, play 5. You get a few packs. Early doors, you can pull some pretty nice stuff from these, as a lot of the early game cards are quite easy to pack and quite low rated. You've also got campaign, which we didn't see too much of last year. It's just a rush points. So you normally have 2 objectives each week. You have the basic rush points, which you get from just playing rush, and they give you some nice packs at the start of the game. And you normally have a player there each week. So here we've got Jessica Naz, who actually looks like a decent starting striker if you don't have too many coins. And you can go and complete her by just playing rush, I assume. Well, she's not even rush. She's rush or rivals or live events. But this weekly rush point is just rush, and you can get some nice packs there. So again, we'll jump into the game section a little bit later and show you how best to spend your time there. You've also got milestones. Milestones is here every year. And again, it's just something you more tick off along the longer course of the game. So you play, for example, 10, 25, 50, 100, 250 squad battles. You get some packs. They have nerfed it slightly this year, and there's not as many good milestone packs, but it's still definitely worth it, and you'll just sort of tick them off throughout the year. So not something you need to pay too close attention to. You've got the SV Pro tab, which isn't great. It's more just if you're watching the pro scene over on Twitch and over on the live event. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. And the last thing in the objectives you're not going to want to miss is obviously the FC Season Pass. If you don't have the premium one, which I believe is 500,000 coins or 1,000 FIFA points, which is really expensive coins-wise, at least at the start of the game, you'll just be getting the free rewards, but it's a nice thing to sort of tick along as the season goes on, and it's why that SP is so important. It's a mix of sort of kits, badges, pro clubs, consumables, chemistry styles, and even some players, like, for example, this 84 Ward-Prowse. So definitely something to take a look at. If you do get the premium, maybe you got I think the Ultimate Edition came with the premium pass this year, then this is something you should pay close attention to and really should be pushing for that SP, as some of the rewards in here will push your team along quite nicely. But moving on from the objectives tab, the next important place you're going to want to look at, like always, is of course the SBC tab. And this year they have nerfed advanced SBCs very slightly. So this year you're going to complete the intro to SBCs here. And if I just complete this for you now, because this will unlock the rest of the SBCs. So make sure you go and do this before moving on. So there we go, boys, completing the last one of these basic SBCs, which is basically just submitting some starter players. It should be pretty simple. And you do get a few packs from these, but the main objective here is just to unlock the rest of the SBCs tabs, as you can see here. So you have an early access challenge if you're on the game at the start. You've got marquee matchups, which is some nice tradable packs. But boys, go and complete, in my opinion, if we go across to the where the advanced SBCs used to be, these intro to upgrade SBCs and intro to challenge SBCs, they've been nerfed from what they used to be, but it's still worth going and completing. The packs are all untradeable now, but again, because it's the start of the game at the minute and you're jumping on, you can actually pack some decent stuff in there, so not something you should overlook. And the same with intro to upgrade SBCs. And of course, whenever you get on the game, you can take a look at whichever player SBCs are out. At the minute, we've got this Dzeko card, and we've also got a Pepe showdown with Yuri Bacici, and then this Reece James card, which is not too shabby at all as well. So after you've done objectives, you might have got a few coins from the starter games. Go and do the SBCs that I've just shown and take a look at what is tickling your fancy there, like the player SBCs or whatever else is out at the time. As you won't have too many coins, boys, you're not going to be able to spend too long in the SBCs tab, of course. So the next place I would jump along to is the Evolutions tab, which is very, very similar to last year. We have a couple paid, well, we have one paid evolution and then a couple free evolutions here. But boys, evolutions, like I say, if you are new to the game, is just where you can upgrade some of your standard players to a little bit higher rating using these evolutions here. So, for example, this one here gives a player +1 pace and +1 shooting, and it is a free evolution. And you normally have to complete a challenge. So, in this one, if we take a look, does it tell us? Yeah, just play one match in any mode. So that's obviously a really simple one as it's intro to evolutions. But some of the challenges can be score goals, or like this one here, play 3 matches in squad battles using this player, or win 2, or you have to win 2 matches as well using the player you choose to evo. So when you go into the menu here, it'll give you a list of players that are eligible from your club here. So if we put the Tyler Diblin in, it would turn him into a gold card there and improve his pace and shooting. So these evolutions, people are loving them. I love them. I'm sure you guys, if you played the game last year, you love them. It just lets you upgrade some of the players that maybe play for your club that you support in real life, or just some club legends you've got in your team. And it's a really nice feature that has not been for too long at all, but obviously one of people's favorites. So don't overlook evolutions. Maybe see if you've got anyone in your starter squad that can go into these evolutions here. But in my opinion, if you've just logged onto the game, save up for a little bit, see what we're going to do next, where we look at some of the gameplay you can do and some of the different rewards you can get there, because you will almost definitely get a better player from some of those untradable packs that can then go into these evolutions, and especially the free ones, because the free ones are free upgrades, really. The paid ones you can take a look at as well, but these free ones are just completely free upgrades, so you should always try and complete them when you've got the time to. And shouldn't be overlooked. You've also got some things like reward evolutions at the top, which you can unlock from things like the season pass, and you've also got cosmetic evolutions, which just give your cards different cosmetic looks. So this one just gives a little shine on gold cards, but you often get them when promos come out. You can maybe turn your original gold card into that promo card, which is a little bit nice if they are free like they are here, which sometimes they can be paid evolutions. But boys, that is evolutions. The last thing to touch on here is the training camp, which is basically the same as I'm sure you know. It is just, instead of doing a challenge like play 3 games, it is just a time-based thing. So this one here takes 1 day, this one takes 1 day, this one takes 4 days. Obviously, it's a nice big boost. And boys, these evolutions here are something you need to do on the companion app. I believe you can do them on the web app as well. So if you just jump onto your phone, jump on the companion app, and you can submit a player in there. And again, it is completely free. I believe your player's locked out of your club for that time they're in the evolution. So this one's 4 days. You then can't use that player for 4 days, but then at the end of it, they get a nice big juicy upgrade, which in this case is a really decent upgrade for a silver striker. So do not overlook the training camp evolutions as well. Just want to touch on the transfer market quickly here. The main reason is as you can see, for example, on my account, that the transfer market is actually locked on some new accounts. So if it's locked for you, don't worry, you just need to complete a few objectives. So for this one here, you need to complete the On Your Way Foundations objective group. And if we go and take a look at the On Your Way Foundations objective group, it is this one here. And if you look, it wants you to complete Diving In, which then wants you to complete Venturing Out, which wants you to complete New Beginnings, which is up here at the top. So it's kind of like a little chain. You complete New Beginnings, which is very, very easy. And these 3, I'm sure, will be very simple as well. Just a couple things like play games and nothing much more. But once you do that, you get access to the transfer market. That's just EA's way of trying to stop bots and coin sellers getting access to the transfer market too early. So go and complete those objectives if you do have like the lock symbol there, and you'll get access to the transfer market where you can start buying players for your team, or maybe even trading. And boys, I will be dropping trading tutorials on the channel all year this year. So leave a like if you want to see how to get your first 100,000 coins, or even your first 1,000,000 coins, which I managed to get to every year. Pretty simple. So I can show you boys that as well. Then, of course, got the store, boys. Again, I just want to touch on this in case some of you do have some FIFA points, maybe from the Ultimate Edition, or maybe you just got some FIFA points for whatever reason, and you're wondering what best to spend them on. And in my opinion, it goes a little bit something like this. If you either trade or you plan on trading, I would always go for tradable packs. Or if you're just at the start of the games, let's say you're playing within that, say, the first sort of month, I would always go on tradable packs like this 100k pack here. If you're later on in the game, you're not fussed about trading, and you just want the best players for your team, you can wait until EA, maybe like this 1,500 FIFA point pack here, but they will put out some pretty juicy untradable packs where you get guaranteed promo cards, and then much later on in the year, guaranteed icons and things like that. So if that's not more what you're bothered about, I would then suggest to put it on those untradable packs instead. There is one other option, which I will jump into in just a second, which is where you can play FUT drafts. And that's obviously, I'd recommend if you're just much better at the game than a lot of people, and you can consistently get to those draft finals, which we can jump in and show you now in a second. Like I was saying, boys, jumping over on into the play tab, which is going to be pretty much the most important tab on Ultimate Team. I was speaking about the online drafts, which I believe costs 300 FIFA points to enter, and is what I'd recommend you spend your points on if you are very, 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 very good at the game and can consistently get into those draft finals, as your packs overall will be better than if you just go and put your points on in the store and get store packs. But jumping on to the rest of the play tab, we're starting with this For You tab, which is new this year. I think it's just showing you which events are out at the minute and like things that might be expiring soon, things like that. But jumping over to the main section, it is this competitive section. This is where we've got our main game mode. So Rush, which was new, I believe, last year. I think it's when it came out. And it's like a little sort of five-a-side game, which is really fun. If you've not played Rush, by the way, go and give it a go. Especially if you're playing with your friends. It can be a little bit frustrating online. But especially with those, as you can see there, the objectives in the top right, the weekly Rush points. Especially with those every single week, you get some nice free packs. So not something to be sniffed at. And then moving on to sort of the two main game modes, we have got Rivals and Champions. So Rivals, of course, is your consistent weekly games, which also, I think this year they've made it a little bit easier to get the weekly rewards, which is nice from Rivals. But make sure, especially early game, you're playing Rivals every single week to get those maximum points and the points upgrade. As although they have like nerfed the rewards in Rivals this year, it's definitely something worth doing every single week, especially towards the start of the game. And then, of course, FUT Champions, which unlocks next week in 10 days. So that's the main game mode, the competitive game mode of Ultimate Team, which we all love and we all hate as well. But yeah, make sure you're playing FUT Champions as well for pretty much the best rewards all year. Although, again, I believe they probably nerfed the rewards this year like they have with Rivals. But you can go and take a look here. So, for example, if you do go ahead and get rank 1 and want to take a look at the rewards, so Elite 1, which I believe is 50-0, you get a 10 times 84 player pack, a 10 times 83, another 10 times 84, a 3 times 88, a 383 plus Team of the Week pack, some 2 Cornerstones guarantee pack, which looks like it'll be the first promo of FC26, and 85,000 coins. And then the rewards just scale down from there. So FUT Champs, really important to get your coins up and your team looking a lot nicer throughout the year. We then move on to a new game mode called Gauntlet. And now a lot of people have still not really got onto what Gauntlet is. Gauntlet is basically a game mode where there'll be multiple different rounds. And in those different rounds, you will have to use different teams. So maybe there's 3 different rounds. And if there's 3 different rounds, you're going to need 3 full different teams, as you can't use the same player twice in any of the teams, which I think is a really fun little game mode, because what was happening in previous years was people were just using the same squad in all the different games, in Rivals and Champs, and just having one team. This now sort of pushes you towards more using your whole club and building like a stack of players in your club this year, which I think is really nice. And you do get some rewards from that as well. We have, of course, got online draft, which we spoke about before. And then moving on to the next tab live event, this is where you've got your tournaments this year. Boys, tournaments are back. I'm sure we're all buzzing. Tournaments give some nice rewards. They have just in general on FIFA this year nerfed the rewards compared to what they were last year's, boys. But still, getting rewards for just completing a nice little daily knockout tournament, or in this case, the early access elimination tournament. And I think you get some player rewards as well throughout the year. It's just a really nice addition. And it's something we've all wanted for a while now, because Rivals and Champions can get a bit stagnant like later on in the year. So tournaments is going to be great. And what I like with tournaments as well is they're showing you the upcoming tournaments, such as here we've got the early access final, which is related to the early access elimination tournament, and also a Cornerstones, which, like I said, is the first promo this year. And they're just showing you what's upcoming, so you can maybe get your team ready if there's requirements for the tournament, and you can see different rewards as well. So, for example, this World Tour Silver Superstar League is going to give out a Jumbo Rare Players Pack, which, if you didn't know, is a 100,000 coin pack for completing so many objectives in that tournament, which is really, really nice. And just moving on to the last main tab in play, it is Play versus AI. And I think there is 2 things I want to touch on here. It is squad battles, which, boys, squad battles is going to be more for if you just don't enjoy playing online for whatever reason, or maybe you're just really new at the game and are not good enough to play in Rivals and it's just your first year playing. Go and jump into squad battles, learn the game a little bit, watch some tutorials online. It's a really good place for that, but the rewards are not too great. So if you're anything sort of maybe Division 8, 7 or higher in Vision Rivals, I just ignore squad battles and put your time elsewhere, unless you enjoy playing it, of course. But then moments, boys, the reason I want to touch on moments is what a lot of people don't know is you can get, I believe it's a free 50k pack early on. So if we look at the star gallery, if you go and complete all the moments, you will get enough stars for, if we go, I think it's the seasonal. Yeah, the seasonal. You'll get 60 stars if you go and complete all the early moments that are already out. And 60 stars gets you a 50k pack. So that's not to be sniffed at, especially if you are playing early game. So what I'd do, boys, if you do have a bit of time now, is go and complete this moments as soon as possible. Complete the foundations, which you get 38. The let's get started, so you'd have 39. And I think some of the milestones there. Get yourself to 60 and get that 50k pack cracked open as soon as possible. I think it's tradable, but you might have to correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll let you know down in the comments. But yeah, 50k pack can't be sniffed at for what is a pretty simple challenge in these moments and shouldn't be too difficult at all. We've, of course, also got the Play versus Friend tab, which is more just playing against your mates, a nice casual experience of FC rather than some of the more competitive modes we've seen. And that rounds off the actual Play tab, which is where you should spend most of your time in FC26. So, boys, we've touched on most of the main elements here in FC26. One of the last things I did want to touch on is settings, as some of the settings are different this year. And I think it's really, really important that people get the settings right. So jumping on into game settings, boys. Firstly, what I would say is time finishing is now no longer a thing. So obviously, if you've played in past years, we had time finishing. It's now no longer a thing. And my recommendation to you is, if you've played the game for a year or more, is to try and get used to precision shooting. So if you go down to this shooting preset here, change shot assistance from assisted to precision. And what this means is that pretty much exactly where you shoot your shot and flick your stick is where the ball's going to go, which means it has a lot more room for error and you can miss a lot more shots. But when you learn this and you learn to shoot your shots more accurately just by a bit of muscle memory and over time, it makes them more accurate and I believe faster as well. So if you want to compete at the highest level in Rivals and FUT Champs, it's something you should look to learn ASAP, especially with no time finishing. And the second one I did want to jump over to is camera. As this year, boys, at the start, for some reason, they've enabled this Ultimate Team competitive camera for everyone. And honestly, just disable this straight away. It's sort of like a dynamic camera that makes the game just so much harder. Unless you're going to play career mode or single player games, get that disabled straight away. And my recommendation would just be to flick these all to co-op, as co-op's the one that gives you the biggest view on the pitch and you can see the most. So you can see all your different players and the opponent's players as well. So I'd flick these all to co-op. And then once you've done that, go down to this camera customization, change it to custom, and I personally go on 20 height and 0 zoom. And again, this just sort of shows you the most of the pitch, so you can see the most players on the pitch. And I think it's the camera setting that most of the pros use, and it's the camera settings I'd recommend getting used to as soon as possible. There's a lot of full settings guides out there, boys, which include going into audio, accessibility, and graphics mode, different things like that. But the ones I've just showed you there are the main ones you will need. And on that settings tab, that is most of the things you will need to know in FC26 Ultimate Team to have the best possible start. But if you want to see how I started my personal FC26 Ultimate Team, you can check out this video here where we're doing a road to Zlatan, where we're trying to get Zlatan Ibrahimovic's new icon card in our account as soon as possible with no money spent. So go and check that out. We're going to be doing that series all year and it should be a blast. But boys, drop a like if you enjoyed the video or if I've helped you out. And until next time, in a bizzle.